is, what worries me is I said that.
Yeah, it worked. It worked for me.
Oh, yeah, it is working. It is working. Relax.
Cool. All right, we're live. Episode 3, a little bit delayed, of Tom and Gerry featuring Ryan. Welcome back, everyone. Traded it up for a bit of Warzone today. Funnily enough, because Tom had to delete Rocket League to be able to have this game on his hard drive.
You
had to delete one shit game so I could play more of this shit game.
I saw a funny meme of the Captain Phillips, the Somalian pirate, who says, "I am the captain now," but instead it's Warzone, and Warzone looking at your PlayStation hard drive going, "I am the hard drive now."
Yeah, it's fucking spot on, mate.
So true.
They are mugging us off massively, and we're all eating it up.
Yeah, it's delicious though. It is delicious.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is.
More. Inject it.
Delicious.
But yeah, so a lot's happened since we've done our last podcast. Obviously, you know, the virus is still kicking about, so that's not ideal.
Although they are like letting people go back to, you know, school and work, etc.
Yeah,
schools are back,
the UK's calmed it down a bit, hasn't it? Certainly, schools are back, which is kind of nice. When I go out of the house at 4 p.m, I don't notice kids everywhere. I don't know about you, but they really wound me up. I was just like, fuck
I prefer
off.
it way more when there's kids everywhere.
Yeah, I'm like, this is my time, you know?
No,
Fucking...
I prefer it when there's kids everywhere.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, obviously we've had this whole Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Which, you know, has been massive, and I probably speak for, you know, first things first, probably speak for everyone in here when we're certainly on the side of this Black Lives Matter movement.
1000%.
Yeah.
And also, on top of that, have been really opened my eyes to how many fucking right-wing weirdos there are in this, and like racist fucking bizarre people that exist. And actually, I think they've come out the shadows a little bit. I think that they didn't show themselves before.
Yeah, they've been resurgent.
Yeah, and then like statues start getting pulled down, Churchill starts getting defaced, and they come out the fucking woodwork.
That's when they start piping up, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought, yeah, good, fucking show yourself. Do you know what I mean? Say it with your chest, so we all know who you are, you fucking freak.
Yeah, it's so funny, isn't it? I can't remember who I was talking to recently about it, but I was saying how often you find people who make these arguments, you know, on the opposite side of the Black Lives Matter argument, most commonly just racist. You'll find that their arguments always have to be drenched in statistics. Yeah. Whereas I feel like I don't need a single statistic for my argument, other than we're all entitled to like equality. Like, I don't need any statistics for that. I don't need to convince you of that argument. You should that's just the way it is, right?
Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. And also, that's another thing that you see going around a lot, which is like, how is it even an argument to say Black Lives Matter? How is that even an argument?
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Why is that not just a fact? That's why Michael Che, is a black stand-up comedian, that he did a special, I think it was back in 2018, but it's now come up on my Netflix, suggested it in the trending at the minute, and he did it a while ago. I don't know if either of you two have seen it. It's really good. I forgot what it's called. But he does it in like his hometown, New York, and he's saying like, people get offended when you say Black Lives Matter. He's like, what? How is that a debate? What's less than matters? There's nothing less than matters. Exists? Can I say black guys exist?
Yeah, that is
fucked so up. True. Like, the fucking how much oppression, and I think to an extent like it's a crazier setting out there. But I think what makes it crazier out there is the guns. I think that just makes it
in America, you mean?
Yeah. It makes it a lot more tense.
They're racist. Have guns. That's the difference between our races.
Yeah, man, they're fucking. Oh, man, no.
Yeah,
it's fucking hard to play this and talk. I'll say that.
Oh really?
for me.
You're used to being good at it, mate. Honestly, I'm trying really hard.
Yeah, I'm enjoying doing fuck all, to be honest. Quite relaxing. This game's normally way too stressful for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess
Why?
I don't know where to leave it on that, but for me, it's just, I don't know. The situation's so vast. I heard people talking for sure, and I heard people saying, you know, which I kind of agree with, that you can't have England, you can't have America, you can't have countries and systems as we know it without having racism, because they are just systemically. It was from the ground up, you know. It started.
Yeah.
It's
So
part of
true.
history as well. Yeah, me and Max talked about this earlier. We were saying to get rid of it sort of and disregard it is in some way or another to say it didn't happen, but it's imperative that you remember it did happen. You know, you got to remember what not to do. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you ever burn your hand? You're like, you do it once, and you're like, fucking.
Actually, it's funny you should say that.
To get rid of the memory of it means you might fucking do it again.
It's almost offensive as well to get rid of the memory of it. To be like, oh, I'll cover it up, like I'll pretend it didn't happen. That's bullshit.
100%. It's so important to remember.
Obvious. And actually, Gerry, it's funny you should say that, because I was saying to Avita earlier that I think there should be museums about how like this oppression started, about how their country, like America started, but basically like, all slave trading and all this shit. And I sort of was tying it in. Remember when we went to Berlin? And we went to what was it? Something of terror. What was it called?
It was the museum in the memoriam of the Holocaust, and
and I think we went there and we were a bit like, oh, we're in Berlin, like fucking 12, 15 guys on a lad's holiday. We're in Berlin. We got to see the obvious stuff, like the wall and the historic sort of parts, just as well as going on the piss and that. And I think we went in there, and we was proper on a buzz. We was on like our second or third day in, and we all had like our midday beer, and then we were like, oh, let's go to a museum, and this fucking Holocaust museum was there. And obviously we weren't all buzzing to go in it, but we were like, yeah, let's do it. But I remember when we came out, no one spoke for like 10, 15 minutes, just because it was so intense to take in. And I think, like, but it's so important that museum exists. Do you know what I mean? And I think
did it so well, didn't they?
They did, yeah. And it's so fucking intense and horrible to see everything, but it's so important to learn that happened, and they need that for the oppression of black people, and not just in America, just all races that have been oppressed, like back when, and tie everything into it. Do you know what I mean? Like the no blacks, no dogs, no Irish thing. Like everyone that was ever oppressed, tie it all in. The fucking the Red Indians that aren't even fucking Indians, but Americans still call them Indians.
Yeah, it's so true.
They need a museum, and they need to stick it in the every capital.
We just
everyone can learn about
from an objective view, and just be like, this is how we treat each other.
Yeah, and then how do racists turn around and like view how they feel then? How can they say that they're right? Do you know what I mean?
That's the biggest thing, isn't it? Education, right? So, you know, a lot of people are talking on the topic that people aren't born racist nowadays, and that's not true. It's never been that way.
Because of the family. Do you know what I'm saying?
They're
it's
taught
like the
that
parents,
way.
And then it's in, you know,
and if in schools they, you know, do their best to absolutely hammer it away. Because, you know, I didn't learn not to be racist by learning about Henry VIII. That's not where I learned that. You know? There's so much more I think the schooling system could do to contribute to, you know, like trying to cut down on racism. It's going to take a long time. I think this is the biggest point to it. It's not going to happen overnight. But I'm so glad that this movement is happening and it's on the scale it is. My fear is that it just needs to not ease off, because that's all the politicians are waiting for. They're waiting for everyone to they're thinking
both open right now. That's why no one's really commenting on it.
No one's saying anything.
No one's been directly to it. They're just sort of weathering the storm, hoping it rolls by.
Literally.
And I'll just carry on doing what the fuck I was doing before.
Exactly that. It's crazy.
Fatigue. They're waiting for fatigue, just like fucking lockdown. Our lockdown fatigued. After how many weeks or months, however you would say, where people just like fuck it, meeting up on beaches, going to the park. Do you know what I mean? Just
literally.
Just doing shit that they probably shouldn't have been doing. It's all down to fatigue. Eventually, everything's. You know what I mean? So.
But yeah, so I mean, yeah, I guess probably a way to leave it on that is we're big supporters of the movement, and hopefully we can see some real systemic change by the end of 2020 would be nice, but who knows? It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. If I'm honest, what some part of me has recognised how ignorant I am. Do you know what I mean? To the situation.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that. How easy it is to just kind of have not acknowledged it to this point.
Every interaction I've had with police has been, at worst, like, okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. And as in, like, I've had positive ones. I've had quite a good relationship with policemen that I bumped into or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I get the whole, like, obviously weed being illegal in England, and I smoke. So, like, when you do see police, you're a bit like, yeah. You fucking take my freedom away, you know what I mean? It's a bit fucking deep.
Yeah, for sure.
Imagine a country where they have guns and shit. It's just like, you gotta reach for your wallet and, like, the fuck, bro, like.
Yeah.
That's so fucking...
Well, one of the guys that was like, he got shot. He was carrying a legal firearm and got his paperwork out, and as he reached for his paperwork, they shot him.
What?
Yeah, Dave Chappelle was talking about it. Dave Chappelle's got this new thing out. Have you seen it? It came up on my suggested today, and I think it's called 846.
No, I'm not seeing that.
How new?
I'll let you watch it. It's really strange because.
Oh, you'll let me watch it? Thanks, mate.
Yeah, I'll allow you to watch it, no worries. No, yeah, but it's strange because it's not actually funny. It's Dave, and he's on stage with a mic and he's saying his usual stuff, but it's not funny. But I don't think it's meant to be that funny either.
I'm noticing that more and more in his performances.
He's sharing his wisdom a lot.
Yeah, man, he's so knowledgeable, and he's just telling stories. They don't know. They have they have comedy in it by nature of him being a guy with great comedic timing, and
the way he tells stories is funny.
Yeah, we need to cherish people like him, man. He's just 100%. So.
Actually, that's what all the comments were. They were like, "We're so lucky that we've got this guy in our generation, and like every generation needs this guy that." Yeah, like, it's a deep thinker, and he reveals other things to you that is right in front of you, but you might not have seen before. And I think that's what a comedian is. A comedian is like a deep thinker that analyzes things and says things in a way that you might not necessarily look at it.
That's it. You just look at it from a new point of view.
Good. Exactly. Yeah, I just looked it up. It's called 846. It's on YouTube. It's the account is Netflix is a joke. It's Netflix's comedy account. And the description says it's from Dave Chappelle. It says, "Normally I wouldn't show you something so unrefined. I hope you understand." And then like a link to support equal justice initiative. And yeah, basically it's like it's almost it says at the start this is the first time Dave's been on stage in 72 days or something like that. So you're thinking like, is this going to be a bit rusty comedy? But it's not even rusty comedy. He's just speaking his mind. And actually halfway through it he goes, "This isn't funny at all, is it?" And people start laughing because I didn't know going into it, was it meant to be funny or not? But coming out of it, I don't think it is. It's just meant to be like informative, like his perspective.
Yeah, he is. Really he is a fucking genius, man. He's a genius. I'm a big fan of Dave Chappelle. But moving on. Next subject, I guess. There has been a big announcement in the fighting world, boxing.
Yes.
Me and Gerry, I would say, both into boxing. Tom, I'd call you a big fanatic, to be honest. But yeah, it's massive for English boxing. Two of the biggest English boxers there's ever been are going to fight. Joshua versus Tyson Fury. Happening, as yet to be announced the exact date, and supposedly I've heard rumours that not potentially in the UK, could be elsewhere. That was what I was reading.
Is strange. The only place I would like it to be, if it's not the UK, is Dubai. Because when Anthony Joshua fought Andy Ruiz in Dubai, I think it was the second time, Mate,
Yeah.
that was on here at like 8 p.m. That was so
Yeah,
good.
it's good
We have
timing.
to- When
Yeah, you're right.
when boxing isn't in our country, we have to stay up till like 5 a.m. and things get a bit hairier when you're trying to fucking stay up to watch fights.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like physically, I just mean everyone's in a bad way
Out on the
next
streets.
day.
Yeah. It's also like a nightmare for the police. Like,
Yeah,
literally.
100%.
They're like, oh,
no
God.
one wants to do that. So, I would love it if it was in Dubai. I think they love it. Do you know what I mean? They'll happily set up those sort of venues for it.
Yes, there's been a lot of fights that in Dubai of late, so
Yeah.
that'd be
I'd love
fine.
it.
But what do we think for the fight itself?
It
Predictions.
fucking kills me to think about it because
Yeah.
I just think Tyson.
it's
Because
big
Andy
because we've got
Joshua is my
Ross as well.
favourite. Obviously, Watford guy.
Yeah, he's local.
Three of us from Watford. We're fucking. You can't not back him. And then on
Yeah.
top of that, he's also really good. So
Yeah.
it's like everyone else is. It's almost like if you're actually from Chelsea and you support Chelsea. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the team's really
Yeah.
good, but also you're from there.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like we get to have a reason, you know. So yeah, he's our guy. But I just technically, Tyson Fury is just amazing. And then watching him the last couple of times with fight, what's his name? Wilder. It's been
Bronze
crazy.
bomber.
Yeah.
What I like about Tyson as well. Why I think the nation's grown to love him is his fucking, his journey. Like like, as in a boxer's life is hard enough. You know what I mean? Some of the great people just went into
Yeah,
boxing,
that's
did well. Not saying it's fucking, just pushing that aside. Like, that's an easy thing to do, but they've gone the boxing way, as it were, and lived that life and become. But he's gone that way and then had a horrible battle with mental. Nearly taking his life then. So one of the greatest fighting men in history, nearly, only man who could beat him is himself, you could say. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
And he nearly did in that way. But
It's
he's
like
come
the
back, and
greatest
he's
comeback
come
story
back as an
ever.
inspiration. Exactly, and it's a comeback in different ways. They come back into boxing, and then for him as a person, you're seeing him stride by stride getting fucking stronger and more momentum.
Yeah.
It's just like
He actually said that,
you're
didn't
seeing
he?
the immovable object hit the fucking unstoppable force. This is really what this is. This is the fucking.
He said like, I didn't want to just do it for me. I wanted to show people that with mental health, or mental health issues, that if you do have this, you can come back. It's not like a one-way road. And he's like, I'm doing it. Like I'm being the example, sort of thing. His sounded crazy when he tells his stories about it, like to the place where he got. And he's saying like he's doing like 100 in the Ferrari, and his foot hitting the floor, and he's like, I'm just not going to steer. I'm just going to let it go straight. And then comes back from that, and in that much of a dark place and stuff. And then you see interviews with him, and you can't help but think he's the same guy he was before he was famous, before all the fame. He just seems like a normal mank traveller bloke. Do you know what I mean?
It's not
He's exactly what
is
you
it?
think a mank traveller bloke would sound like or be like.
If you look at his history as well, his Billy Joe Saunders, and that, he met him when he was young. And Billy Joe's is a champion in his own right, so he's hanging around other champions. So he's always And then Billy Joe said he was hanging with him one day, just sitting in the pub with him, and when he was at his worst. But he said when he started coming back around, he started getting back in the gym. You could almost see like a light in his eyes again. He was like, fucking thirst for life, as it were. Which is, man. But the thing is, as well, AJ, he's also that's what I'm saying. They both got quite fucking awesome stories, don't they? You got the mental health on one side, and AJ's his life as well, his way of coming into boxing.
He chose a bad path, whereas I feel like Tyson Fury got dealt a bad card. What with his mental health, you don't necessarily choose that. There's not really a lot of avenues he's gone down that's happened to him, that's made that happen to him. But Andy Joshua, being like a young kid, impressionable or whatever, chose a bad lifestyle, and himself came back from that, didn't he? And that's in itself a good success story.
And to hear him talk, he's one of the most humble blokes in boxing. He's very just gracious in defeat. Is something I'm always admirable of anyone for. As much as someone like Conor McGregor's a prime example of being a bit of a bad sportsman at times. So gracious in defeat. and you've got to take your hat off to that because I lose a game of Call of Duty and I flip my lid. Something that you've dedicated your exactly. But then you've got something you've dedicated your life to. It's everything that you do, and you convince yourself of the best because you have to. That's how you win, and then you lose to someone. It must be so tough to take.
It's such a fucking bitter pill to swallow, isn't it? Just to fucking have to say that.
Yeah, so I'm always in awe of people that can sort of just take it on the chin and come back stronger. It's amazing.
Yeah, when AJ did come back and he fought Ruiz again, it was a completely different.
It was amazing to see. I really enjoyed that fight.
If you played one fight and played the other fight, you'd be like, what happened?
Yeah, two different boxes,
what the fuck
wasn't it?
happened? What happened in there? Something completely different.
So what do we think for the fight? I reckon. Like the thing is,
you mean? Go on.
Well, it's just going to be really. We know Fury has one. We know Fury has one style, right? He does what Fury does, and it's so effective against anyone. He's just a monster. And Joshua, we've seen totally adapt his style to different fights. So if anyone between the two, I think Joshua's probably going to make a bit more of adjustment in the game, in the fight. Which would make sense. But
I'd say technically speaking, Tyson's he's been around boxing his whole life. He can fight, one way, standing one way than the other. So I'm not saying they probably both can. To be a boxer, I imagine you have to do that. But like, I think
one year
it's
apart, by
be,
the way. Joshua 30, Tyson 31. Crazy.
Oh really?
But the difference between
terrible.
Well, watching Tyson fight in the Bronze Bomber, and he was like, but he basically has, he's taking the piss out of him, saying he's only really got one punch, just a fucking straight right, the left hook, really. And he the first fight he had with him, although he wasn't like, he did dominate most of the fight, we'll say, but he did have moments to the point where he was actually put down and out for a minute and fucking got up. Do you know what I mean? He got close to the line there of losing and managed to fucking bring it. So even in that fight was another huge fucking comeback story. So it's like a comeback and a comeback.
Yeah.
And then but AJ is actually he hasn't got one punch. Do you know what I mean? He's not a fucking one-dimensional fighter. He will be coming at him with different things. And I think the problem with especially the second fight of what's his name, the Bronze Bomber, what's his name, Tyson Fury. He was far more aggressive. Like once Tyson got matey on the back foot, he could keep him there. He could move him around. He could ping off on him and light him up. And the Bronze Bomber couldn't. He has to step into that right. You know what I mean? And put power on it behind. He has to come into it. But he never let him do that. He constantly kept him, bottled up and smothered. But I don't think AJ is someone you can do that. Do you know what I mean? You catch a few fucking shots from him to the body or something, you soon give him fucking space, I'd imagine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What was impressive was seeing Tyson Fury drop Wilder, which obviously we ain't seen before, and him having like what was it in his ear, like the fucking.
What was that?
It's the thing that in your ear that like your equilibrium, is it? It like gives you balance and shit.
Oh yeah.
He was bleeding out of his ear, so he had zero balance. It was crazy.
He just looked. I was watching the fight literally a couple of days ago. I was just watching the highlights, and he's just looked exhausted, man. The whole fight.
He did, man.
He looked fucking.
And the thing is, you'd think as well, like, if you ever do like any hitting pads and that, a lot of exertion is in firing the shots, as it were. You don't often, I anyway, don't often think about actually taking the shots. But that fucking takes energy too. When you're taking hits, that takes energy out of you somehow. I don't know the physics of it, but you just fucking, your energy gets depleted. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Getting punched in the face for some reason makes you out of breath.
Yeah, it's exhausted.
It's exhausting getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
When you say like that, Ryan, it seems simple.
No energy.
But yeah, either way, I think it's going to be a fucking big fight, and I'm excited for it. Let's just hope it's on a good UK time, so we can.
And I'm glad it's actually happened. I'm like the whole Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao thing. It just happened too late. No one cared about it by the time it did happen.
Yeah.
I'm glad this is happening when it should.
And I couldn't agree more.
No setbacks. stuff like that, because we talk about like cursed fights, like the Tony Ferguson and Habib fight that
Mate,
it literally was meant to go ahead this year. This year was the 4th time. It might be 5th, I'm not sure. I can't remember fucking so many times. And it fucking COVID happens. It's obviously like no one could predict it.
Yeah.
Biblical shit.
People were saying like when it the 4th, like when it actually got put on, like it was said it was going to happen this time. Everyone was like, nah, there's something's going to happen. It's always been, like,
literally, no one believes it.
Like, nah, something's going to happen. And then fucking COVID happened. And everyone was like, time's up.
Yeah. But yeah, so that should be looking forward to that one.
I'm proper excited for that.
Yeah, I mean COVID's really taken its toll at the minute. We've been trying. I mean, one of our mates met up for a beer recently and decided to throw himself accidentally, of course, off a 10-foot drop and ended up pretty injured. Yeah, broke his collarbone, bunch of ribs, potentially punctured lung. Real fucked himself up, and he's alright now. But it's I think just the toll that quarantine's taken on us, and things we'll do for a beer with the boys, you know.
Yeah. Launch myself over a 10-foot drop. Yeah.
Literally. But we've been talking about potentially having a holiday, which would be class. Going to like Portugal or.
He is not coming.
No, he wouldn't survive the holiday. No.
Do you guys ever go to a after school club after like primary school or something like that? You used to do that.
I don't think so. Not in primary.
But I remember when you used to go into after school club, you were like, if you were the only one there, you'd want to pray for your mum to hurry up and come get you, so you can just go home.
Yeah.
But then sometimes when it's a sick day, everyone's playing football or whatever, it's a sick day, and then your mum turns up early, and she's like, thinking she's doing you a favour by getting there quick, and you're like, no!
You're like, go back.
That's what Fizz did. He didn't want to go home, so he fucked himself down a 10-foot drop.
He actually came back, like looked up. Oh, was he allowed out and all this shit? Like obviously just coming back off a flight. Was it against the rules? Like he didn't want to break any rules. He was being proper like nice and civil about it. And meets up, stays like 2 meters the whole time. He's like really wary of it as well. He like looked proper. Like Dan Mackey turned up and he looked all sheepish and he's keeping his distance and that. We're all laughing at each other because it feels stupid, but we know we should be keeping 2 meters. So we like laugh, but then also back away. Back away because he just fucking launches himself off the side. Because at the start, someone said something funny, and he sort of like leant backwards. And you know when you're laughing loads and your mate like falls over laughing, that's funny. So we started laughing more when he fell, but then it processed for all of us that actually where he fell was like a 10-foot drop. Yeah. So then instantly stopped laughing and
well, I was getting
all about him.
Yeah, always.
Sorry to interrupt. I got to say, I got an update. My actual character in this game, he just started putting bandages on his arms.
Is he?
Yeah, I'm watching him. I'll show you when we're finished recording. I don't know what this is about.
That's fucking 5,000 terabyte update, is it?
It's all worth it now. I've just found like a lumberjack as well. Anyway, what I was trying to lead into on there, Gerry, was you had a story from a past holiday that you wanted to share with us, I think.
Yeah. So the actual topic I want to get on is like embarrassing stories. I'll say one. This is a time in, I think it was maybe Zante or something like that.
The typical it was actually, English lads.
There was another story
holiday.
from the same night. So I'll tell you the other story afterwards, which isn't as good. But it was we went into this bar, and everyone went and got drinks. I went to the toilet and then came back over. Everyone was on the far end of the bar. So I'm walking past this girl, and she's facing the other way. She looks hot, and I was
I can tell you hate this already.
Where was I? Yeah, so she looked hot. I went to walk past her, and then as I was walking up, I was like, I'm gonna just be like, can I buy you a drink or something? But as I go to tap her on the shoulder, my brain, but it's too simple, isn't it? Everyone and their mum says that. Your dad probably said that, so did mine. So I was like,
my dad pulled my mum, I think.
Yeah. Capri Sun.
The generations at work, son. The generations at work. But but as I tapped her on the shoulder, as she's turning around, thoughts just fucking burning through my head in an instant, and I was like, that's too samey, you know. I was like, no, say something like, you know, off, you know, original or whatever. And I was like, so what? She turned around and I was like, can I buy you a drink? And she was like, no. I was like, can I take you for a dance? And she was like, no.
I was like, is there a disco ball above my head? Is this the 70s? Right, I fancy a dance, fancy a boog. Jesus Christ, Gerry. How old were you?
It's got to be like, I think it's 18. It wasn't our first holiday, so like the second one. I was 18 years old.
You're just legally allowed to drink, and you're like, fancy a dance.
And she was like, no, but that's not the fucking worst part, dude. So I'm now like next to her at the bar. I'm literally standing next to probably people who are with us. Do you know what I mean? I haven't got to go far to walk away.
No.
Right.
And I said, oh, it's a shame. As I was turning away, I was looking over my shoulder, like trying to give her this look, right, like I'm fucking. And I was like, it's a shame you could have been the one or something like that. And as I turned around, I felt I was just like, why did you say that?
Oh, you said that. Did you say it's a shame you could have been the one?
You could have been the one.
Oh my god! Who are you, Morpheus? What the fuck?
Literally. Game like Morpheus,
like a black leather sweeper jacket on, like.
Puts his glasses on, walks out.
No brains, they just stick on his nose. You could have been the one. That is fucking horrendous, man.
That was, yeah, man. Every now and then, my mind, I just get a bit too cocky, you know.
Yeah.
My mind's just like, there you go, mate. That'll put you in your fucking place.
Yeah, you're really content with life, and your brain's like, remember this? You're like, oh.
I'm never going to fucking Zante again. Why? Don't fucking worry about it.
I wonder if she ever thinks about that. If she's ever just driving in her car, and then one day the image of you pops in her head of like, you could have been the one, and it really bothers her. She's like, what?
I could have been the one.
I could have been the one.
I'm just anyone now.
So
no, that was. But on the same night, so that later on that day in the same bar, everyone, there was about 8 to 10 of us or whatever. We stood in a circle and everyone had got a NOS balloon, and we waited so everyone, you know, got this. We're going to do it all together.
Back in the days of NOS balloon not being illegal, what a dream.
This was in Zante. It wasn't in England. It was abroad somewhere. So it probably
no, but they only made illegal like in the past, what, like 10 years ago, maybe less. Yeah, definitely less. Like 5 years ago, they were made illegal, I think.
But yeah, as we were doing it, we all started, like, you know, huffing on the balloons. And as I was about to go in my truck, I felt someone like try and grab my arm, but sort of slip away. I was like, what the fuck? So I took my balloon away from my mouth. I looked over and it was Fizzer. Someone had pulled him back into the crowd. So I was like, what the fuck? So I just ran after him. And I got through this clearing of like basically a bunch of guys, like a similar group of guys like us, like a different version, like, you know, like a weird parallel universe version of everyone from our group. And, but they were trying to steal Fizz's shoes, so like they waited for everyone to do the thing, and they were going to try and rob his fucking shoes. Fucking weird. And when I was asking Fizzer, what happened? What happened? He was like, I don't know, mate. You can't. We were over here. And I was like, what?
Oh, I seem to remember this story. Yeah, people trying to steal his shoes. That's so mad.
Yeah, that was the same night. So it was a weird one.
That's hilarious. What the fuck, mate?
But anyway, I'm not. Don't think I'm going with you guys. You go ahead. Well, let me hear it.
Brian, have you got any chat up ones?
Chat ones,
Even if you have, they've got to be fucking corkers to follow up from Gerry's.
The thing is as well.
That shit. That was fucking.
Oh, I'll tell you what happened not that long ago to me.
Here we go.
Haven't even got the exclusive being 18.
Not that long ago.
This was probably about...
today.
I'll tell you, yeah, this morning. No, it was about 8 months ago. I was at my mate Crick's birthday party. And,
he's called Crick?
Yeah, well... I don't think he is, but he calls himself. We're all kind of suspicious.
Mate, my name's Crick. All right, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, you crick on, mate. You crick on. All right. Anyway, terrible.
Fun for the whole family.
Well, yeah, it was his birthday. We were out in Brixton somewhere at this bar. We were having a good time, drinking. Loads of Jaeger bombs flying around, meeting some people I hadn't met before. All good fun. Actually, turns out that Crick's mate, who I was chatting with all night, he was like, at one point he was like, "Oh, my girlfriend's just turning up," and I was like, "This is a little side note," but he was like, "My girlfriend's turning up." I was like, "Oh yeah, no, that's a weird thing to say, but fine." But it turns out it was Sophie Scott, and I was like, "Oh yeah, cool, know you." Small world. But anyway, point is, I was chatting to there was this Irish bird, and I'm a real sucker for an Irish accent. Northern Irish, Southern Irish, doesn't really matter. Really. And she was blonde, very fair skinned. I was just like, you're a stereotype, and I love it. Anyway, we was getting on really well. We were just sitting there chatting shit. I don't think she was mates with like anyone there that we knew. I can't remember how. I think I got chatting to her at the bombs. 4 other people, and I said, "Does she want one?" Because she was stood next to me.
Oh, there we go. That's a great little win there. Ryan.
Yeah, and she was like, "Go on then," and I was like, "Hey!" So she had to do the Jaeger bomb with me, obviously. Then we get chatting. We're chatting for fucking good, I don't know, good half hour. Just sat me and her, and then her friends are like waving at her, and she's like, "Oh, let me introduce you to my friends. Go over, some guys, some girls. They were really sound. We're all chatting. I was a fair bit steaming, but." You know, it was flowing. It was flowing. Anyway, I'm fucking dying for the toilet, but I don't want to go because it's flowing so well, and I don't want to stop the momentum. Yeah. I don't want anything to stop it. For some reason, it's like 2 stories down. It's like really far away. I don't know why. So anyway, I have to bite the bullet.
By which point she could have been chatted up by someone else.
Well, that was my worry. That was my worry because I mean, I give myself fair game in the chat department, but in the immediate looks department, there was about 40 other guys that trumped me in that place. So I was like, "Fuck! I've grafted a lot here. I can't let this slip."
You've oiled her up.
Put the fucking foundations in. Fuck off.
So I go to the toilet because I was honestly I was just going to piss in that seat, and I was like, "That's not flirting at all." So I had to go, come back upstairs, and would you believe it, she's not there with her mates anymore. So I was like, I asked one of her mates, like, "Oh, do you know where she's gone?" And she was like, "I don't know, I think she went to the toilet." I was like, "That's fine." So I go and chat. I haven't chatted to my mates in a little while, so I go and chat to them, just sort of one eye on the corner, wait until she shows back up. Anyway, I'm chatting for a while we do another couple of Jaeger bombs. I'm getting more and more drunk, which in turn makes me more and more impatient. And I'm noticing she's just not turning up. So I'm like, what the fuck? And
I'm for that. I'm with you there. I'm for that.
Yeah, so I think, no, I'm going to hunt her now. I'm going to become the hunter.
Okay,
so I'm going to go find her, see where she is, and I'm going to carry on with this foundational work. Massive bar, this place. So I'm walking around, can't see her. Check the dance floor, it's pretty busy. Sort of boogie my way through it. She's not there.
I wish I could have watched this. I wish I could have just watched it.
Always boogie your way through everything, by the way.
Yeah, literally.
I'm walking up the stairs and I see the boys say, "Oh, we're going to this next bar. Come on." They're like, "We're going." I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake."
Killing me.
Look downstairs one last time and see at the bar her not only getting off with a bloke, but getting fingered by him against the bar.
Oh my god!
And I thought, what did I do?
Honestly, glad that you betrayed me.
Yeah.
That could have been me, finger blasting a bird against a bar. Is there a better place to be as a man?
I was gutted.
Honestly, mate,
So,
that is horrendous.
I gathered
And do you know what? That's exactly what we just spoke about. You literally oiled her up for someone else and then just fucking...
Yeah. That's what I was worried about going to the toilet for. Fucking bollocks.
You were right to worry. You should have pissed the seat, mate. You should have rocked the
That was your intuition, like, don't go.
Back yourself, piss the seat. That's the lesson I learned from all of it.
Well. Yeah, I'll piss on myself, mate. You go to the toilet like a fucking pussy, yeah?
Yeah. Mate, that's horrendous. Did you?
But I, bit my tongue, gathered my dignity. There wasn't much of it, and
at the
got
same
out there.
time, I mean, there's no fucking. You're never going to take her home to your mum. Do you know what I mean?
No.
yeah, it's finger blaster against a bar on Leeds.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Should have gone and shook that guy's hand. Preferably the hand he fingered her with. Getting weird.
But yeah, what about you, Tom?
I mean,
Tom's got a missus. So...
Yeah, because I've been in a relationship.
He's got to be real fucking...
I just can't tell them. No, I'm joking. I have got an embarrassing story though. I have got a really embarrassing story, and this is one that I always pull out when people talk about embarrassing stories. This is my top shelf.
Top shelf.
When people talk to me about being embarrassing, I often think, I wonder when the next time I'm gonna feel really embarrassed is. I always think. So
talk yourself for that.
I don't know if I've told this story in this. I don't think I have. Stop me if I have. So it's my first job. I'm working at Leeds Studios, and at the time, there's loads of people that are the same age at this job because it's like everyone's first job, and us in our WhatsApp group, we were talking about girls in our year that have like blossomed, I think the term is. Never used to be like.
You didn't notice them, and then all of a sudden.
I know, yeah.
They get to like 21 and they're just absolute rocket, and it just comes out of nowhere. And so there was a couple of screenshots, and Fraser puts in a screenshot of this girl that we work with. That's like.
Shall remain nameless?
She looks like, I won't say the name. But they're saying that she looks like Nicki Minaj when she puts her makeup on, but at work she doesn't wear any makeup, and not that she looks like massively different. She just does look different. Anyway, I'm at work, and basically, to cut a long story short, I'm on my phone and I'm talking to her about something funny, but I'm with this girl, and I said to her, "Oh yeah, there's this really funny picture. Let me show you it." And as I unlocked my phone, the last thing I was on was our group. But I wasn't in the group. I was in the library of the group. So I unlocked my phone, and it's her Instagram picture. Yeah, her Instagram, which is a little bit awkward. But you can recover from that.
It almost be charming.
You put the Instagram out there. Don't be weird that people are looking at it, right?
Exactly. It's not weird that I could play that off and be like, oh, what are the chances I'm on your Instagram? If I was perving, I could have played that off. But obviously, immediately, I just pressed back like a fucking, really quickly. But it just leads me back to a media page. So now it's a screenshot of loads of girls' Instagram. And I'm like, fucking, the whole point of me, I can't even remember what I was trying to show her. I was trying to show her something funny. But this whole time, she's standing next to me, looking at my phone.
Just
even worse, she's
through.
not saying anything. I'm just there fumbling with my phone. And she's fucking... this weird noise and then as I press back, it's like the WhatsApp group, and then I was just like, and now I've got to stand there and find this fucking funny picture, and she's got to pretend to laugh at it, and then we've got to be like, "There, that was funny, right? Yeah, not worth it. All right, cool, cheers, bye." And yeah, honestly, I think about that shit all the fucking time.
That's not what you
the
want.
rest of the day, that was like right at the start of my shift. The rest of the day, she avoided me like the plague. And
understandably so, though,
I could see her talking to someone else, and she wasn't that close with any of the people that were there. So she was kind of talking to people. I just went straight up to a girl that I was kind of friendly with, and I was like, "I've just done the worst possible thing imaginable. I've just shown her a picture of herself on my phone. I didn't mean to." And I explained the context. Like, basically, Fraser said that she looked like me, Nicki Minaj, and that's why she's on my phone. And she was like, "Well, just tell her. Like, it's a lot better if you just explain it to her."
Otherwise your mind runs away with you. What's he doing with that picture?
And then obviously my brain is trying to give me the safe haven of like, no, maybe she didn't see it. And then the logic part's like, nah, she fucking saw it, mate. So this girl, like this really nice girl, was like, no, honestly, do it. You'll feel so much better, and she'll probably feel better because that is really creepy. So I was like, okay, cool. So I got up to her, and I'm trying to explain it to her, and I don't really want to drop Fraser in it, being like, "Oh, he says you look like Nicki Minaj." Like, she might not like that. You know what I mean? I don't know if she wants to look like Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
So I'm like, massively overthinking. Just like, yeah, so basically Fraser thinks you're
Let's
fit.
go, you dig in this
so
fucking hole, right?
Mate, yeah, I made it worse. I was like,
Fucking hell.
Fraser thinks you're fit, so he sent me a screenshot of your face, and then I was like,
Completely mixed his words.
yeah, it was just ridiculous, mate, and I just dug myself a bigger hole. The whole time, by the way, I was explaining this to her, she was like fanning herself with this menu because she was getting really hot, like flustered and embarrassing, but then run away. Mum was like, then work with it, and then every time you see her in public, you're like, oh, remember that time? Yeah.
And so the lesson from that story is, if ever in trouble, throw Fraser under the bus, right?
100%. Yeah.
Don't
So you could have been the one for Fraser. What? I
don't know. Oh, mate. It's what I mean. We were saying like this is going to do wonders.
She would find this story funny now because she is a really funny person. But yeah.
Oh,
that is hilarious.
Yeah. Well, that's funny. And I can't wait till the next time I feel that embarrassed.
It is exhilarating in a way, isn't it?
It is. It's a funny story at the end, but
I'll say this: I could feel that my story. I could feel my face was like, I could feel my face was hot, just like.
That's what I think she was doing when she was fanning. She was fanning herself. That's what I think she felt like.
Melting.
Yeah.
But however, like, although I hate it in the moment, it's fucking hilarious to me now. That's just fucking funny to me now, man.
Yeah, you got to laugh at these things, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Otherwise, you'll cry.
I think we should get people to come in and do their embarrassing stories. I reckon every one of our mates has at least one really embarrassing.
100%.
That's a good idea.
100%. I mean, I've certainly got some.
I want Fraser to come and tell his one, man.
Fraser will have a good one. I feel like there's too many.
I'm already thinking of one, so like, I was just gonna say we have to have him in multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it like as an end segment. I think that'd be a good thing, just to end on morbidly.
Today we'll leave you
story.
With another cringe moment.
Yeah, because I think I'm kind of addicted to cringy things. I really enjoy cringy things.
You told us last time about those videos that you like watching, yeah. Yeah,
like and like TikToks as well. When guys are like smouldering at the camera and shit, and they think it's attractive. I think that's jokes. Like that's so funny. I find that so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, man.
What time are we on?
I had another one. I just genuinely can't remember my fucking.
What time is it?
Yeah, that might be it. Actually, that might be it. Right. Well, we'll end it there.
Yeah.
I think it's a good place to end it on a funny story.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do that in future, like you say. But other than that, thanks for listening in, whoever did. And if you stayed till the end, if you stayed till the end, you're a fucking trooper. Thanks, future Ryan, Tom, and Gerry. Good blokes you are. Try and actually win a game of this now, maybe once we get off this. Nah, fuck that. This game's shit.
How do we stop recording it, Ryan?
I don't know. Double tap it, I think.
How do we get off this thing?